Hi everyone, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF and on today's episode we're going to be doing another Sample Saturday. Now if you caught my previous Sample Saturday video, I'm going to be doing this a little bit more regularly, not every week, but when I've got interesting stuff to cover. And I'm going to be doing either a Sample Saturday or a Sample Sunday, depending on when I get the video out. Today we're going to be covering the latest, the Dram team offering. This is the January box. And they're calling it a regional romp, and it's a nice little kind of tasting session throughout the world of Scotch, covering all of the areas. I'll go through these one by one, but if you like this video, then don't forget to hit the like button, and by the time you get to the end of the video, there's going to be a little discount code if you want to be interested in getting hold of these boxes and subscribing to the Dram team if you're in the UK. But do check that out at the end of the video and you can see how to get hold of that. Let's go through these and see what we've got in the glasses today. And we'll go through them one by one and see what we think is going on and see which one's best maybe. Let's check out going from this left to right. I guess that's left and right to you guys. And see what's going on, shall we? First one is the Auchentoshan 12-year-old. Lowlands. Next up, we've got the Balblair 12-year-old for the Highlands. Then we've got the Glen Rhum Agricole Cask Finish Project. That's from the Space Side. That one's a little bit different. The first two are kind of standard offerings. That one's a little bit kind of a strange one. Next up for the Islands, we've got Jura 7-wood. Penultimate, we've got the Longrow Peated. And finally, for the 6th dram, the little wee extra dram, we've got the Bowmore, aged 19 years, French Oak Barrique for Islay. Obviously, that one was for Campbelltown. Let's get into the first one and see what we've got in the glass. So, first one. This one's in a Whiskey Wings glass, a nice kind of Instagram blogger. And this one's the Auchentoshan 12-year-old. So, it's a 40%er. In the UK, it sells for around £35, so I believe it's the cheapest offering we've got on the table today. Lowlands. The interesting thing about this is that it's triple distilled. Now, the Auchentoshan range is all triple distilled, as far as I'm aware. There are some other distilleries that are kind of toying with triple distillation. Auchentoshan is the only one, I think, that does the entire range. The other ones would be Springbank, obviously one of their expressions is triple distilled. Hazelburn, I think. And the Benromach are also experimenting a little bit with triple distillation. This one's quite readily available. I haven't covered this one on the channel. There's only one that I've covered on the channel properly, and that's the Longrow Peated. We'll get to that when we come to it. But yeah, this one's pretty bog standard and easy to get. Let's get on the nose and see what we've got, shall we? And for me, I'm going to be doing this fairly quickly. We've got a long video, so I'm going to go, not my usual tasting notes, but just a kind of quick one. For me, it's honey and malt. It's quite a tasty nose for the price of it. £35. It's probably a little bit expensive, but let's get into the palate. Translates nicely over from the nose. A little thin, I thought. Very watery, but sweet, and it's got a bit more of that maltiness coming through. Generally a nice tasty dram, but yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones they do, so maybe not worth the extra. We'll see how we get on with the rest of the range today to see if really which one's worth the best, I would say. I'm going to be cleansing with a little bit of water in between each one, just so that we know that we're getting a kind of fresh palate. Let's move on to the second one. Second one is in a Jason Whiskey Wise glass. I'm not going to be talking about colour or anything like that today. I mean, you can see the differences in colour. I don't know which ones of these have added colour and which ones don't, so it's not really worth talking about them too much. But this is the Balblair 12-year-old, kind of covering the Highlands section of this flight. Now, Balblair have recently kind of redone their brand. So this year, I suppose last year, technically 2019, they took away their vintages. They used to do kind of the year it was distilled. And to be fair, I found that quite confusing because you could never really know, especially when you had a first release, second release, third release. Working out the ages of those things became a little bit of an arduous task, to be honest. If you knew, you knew, but if you didn't, you had to do some research. Now, they've just scrapped all that and put some age statements on. The new core range, I think, is a 12 year, a 15, an 18 and a 25. I have to say it's quite refreshing because most distilleries now are going the other way. They're taking away their age statements and putting in loads of NAS statements, no age statements. So it's nice to see a distillery not taking away their age statements, but just changing the way they're doing things. Their new bottle design is interesting. I have to say, not overly keen on it. I prefer the original labels, but we're only talking about labels. If your only argument about a whiskey is that the labels changed, then I think we're winning. This one is a little bit more expensive. It's about £40. It's still a decent ABV at 46. I think it's one of the best ABVs on the table. We've got some 40, 46, 46.3, 42, 46 and 48.9. We're going kind of up in price almost until we get to the peated stuff, and then, it's because it's peated, that's why it's at the end. Anyway, the Balblair 12, let's get on the nose and see what we've got. So already this is a step up for me. It's £5 more expensive, but already on the nose, that's £5 better spent, I have to say. It's a sweet vanilla nose, and strangely we're getting a lot more apple kind of notage on it as well. I would expect to get that on the Speyside ones, but definitely getting that kind of sweet vanilla appley vibes off of this. Let's get onto the palate. So that ABV, that difference in 46% rather than 40, definitely making a massive difference. Loads more apples on the palate. But again, a touch maltiness coming through. There's a whole heap going on in this one. Too much to cover on a quick video like this. But I have to say, there's no comparison between the two we've just tried there. Already, a huge step up in quality. But although I've only covered one Balblair on the channel so far, that's the 1991, you can go and check that one out on a link up here. I am a huge fan of Balblair. I just don't tend to cover them very much. I just haven't really purchased any in the last few years. Bit of a shame. I will have to change that. But I am going to be doing a awesome Balblair tasting coming up on another sample Saturday or Sunday in the future. I was sent some amazing samples, but more on that another day. Let's have a quick cleanse before we get on to the third whiskey. Now, the third one. I said at the beginning, the first two are kind of normal age statement whiskies. They're in the core ranges. This one is a special. I'm going to have to read this off because there's a lot of words. The Glen Moray Rhum Agricole Cask Finish Project. So it's a special release, 46.3%. Going up in price again. This one's about sort of £50 to £55. But it's always good from Glen Moray. They usually produce things that are quite cheap. Some of their classic ranges are about £20 in the UK. Real bargain. I think their branding could do with a bit of work. Their boxes and their bottles could do with standing out a little bit more, I think. But for the price, let's not argue about kind of marketing. Let's talk about the liquid inside. This one is in a Spiritworks glass. Did I mention the glass in the last one? I did. Jason Whiskey Wise, I did. Spiritworks is a bar in Lichfield. You should definitely go and check them out if you're in the Midlands. So this is a brand new release as well, 2019. Finished for 24 months in Rhum Agricole casks. This is the French word for rum that's made from kind of, I guess, pressed or squeezed sugarcane juice. I don't know, I guess they just smash it down rather than molasses. That's the big key difference between that. But ultimately, we're going to get rum notes off this, I should imagine. Let's get onto the nose and see what we've got. Whoa. It's a totally different beast to the other ones. I have to say, not that representative of Speyside as a general vibe. So if you're picking up this package to get a good vibe of current whiskies in the Scotch world, this might not be that representative of Speyside, but what a fantastic nose off of that. Definitely the sweetest nose we've had so far. Loads of vanillas on it. It's like a dessert. If I didn't know that it was a rum finish, I don't think I would pick up any rum notes in this. Oh, just nose for days. Let's try the palate. Oh, that's tasty. It's a lot more expensive than the other two. A lot, maybe, you know, a few extra quid at least. But you're really seeing that step up in flavour, at least. I wouldn't want to say quality, because Balblair is quality. Auchentoshan, also quality, just a different beast. But this has got so much more to offer in terms of punchy flavour. It's almost like a creme brulee. That kind of burnt custard vanilla-y. It's not smoky, it's just giving off those kind of toasted vibes to it. And on the back end, there's a kind of mentholy, nettly vibe to it. Really tasty. I have to say, if we're talking about ranking these so far, for my personal flavour profile, as much as I love the Balblair, it's going in the opposite order of what we've covered so far. First, second, third. Just me. You might get a different kind of vibe off it at all. Let's have a little quick cleanse. Now, Jura 7 wood, 42% in a Scotch Test Dummies glass. Now, I haven't been overly kind about Jura over the years. Typically, I've found their offerings quite, I was going to say boring, but like a little bit bland. They don't really have anything going for them. This is a 42%er, and so far the most expensive whiskey we've got on the table, £55. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Came out in 2018 when they rebranded. You know, they took away things like the Origins and the smoky one that the name escapes me right now. I quite enjoyed that one, to be honest. But they've rebranded. They've got a few Moray statements, and they've got the no age statements, the Journey, and the 7 wood. It's called 7 wood because it's 7 different cask types mixed together. Although we say different because the first cask type is just a regular ex-bourbon American white oak. Then the other 6 are French oaks. And I'm not going to go into the names of those because there's so many different names that I wouldn't even remember. The only one that sticks in my brain is the Limousin cask, and that's because I've been to that area. So it's just 7 European oaks, all from France. Not sure how that's expected to change this at all, but let's get into the nose and see what we've got. Okay. Now for me, it's very different. I'll give you that. It's very different. I'll get a kind of fruitiness out of this, a little bit of berries, fresh berries rather than dried. Some ginger is in there as well. Very interesting. It's a very different nose, actually. It's probably one of the best Jura noses I've tried in recent years, and I haven't covered many on the channel, to be fair. Let's get onto the palate. Okay. Interesting. Very tannic, very oaky. Some apricots on the back end. So, definitely living up to its name of the 7 wood. You know, lots of oakiness to it. If that's the kind of vibe you like from a whiskey, then you'll definitely find enjoyment to it. But, you know, I can't help thinking that I wish the ABV was higher. It might just give it a better dynamic to it. Tastes a little thin. To me, I wish it was a little more viscous. But I have to say, £55, probably a little bit expensive. You know, I can imagine that sourcing all of those casks was expensive, and that's the reason why we're paying this much. But I wish there was a little bit more attention to the detail on the ABV. It's a fairly well balanced dram. I don't want to be too critical of it. It's nice enough. It's nice enough. But if I'd have paid £55 for it, I don't think I'd have been that happy. Okay. So this next one's going to be a little bit different because we're going on to some peated stuff here. This is a Campbelltown whiskey. There aren't many Campbelltown whiskies right now. And funnily enough, a lot of them go under the radar. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the kind of heaven forbid I use the word connoisseur, but you know what I mean. You know, that kind of top echelon of whiskey fans. You probably know about Campbelltown. Aquavitae Glass, he definitely knows about Campbelltown. He definitely knows about Longrow. Oh, man. I am huge into my peated whiskey at the moment. And this is what I'm talking about. I absolutely love this dram. I have covered this one before, so if you're interested in kind of a full video about this, then do go and check that out. For me, okay, so it's got a sweetness to it. There's more of those vanillas. You're going to get vanilla across a lot of Scotch because of just the way that they make it, the way that they age it in ex-bourbon barrels. It's the nature of the oak. Lots of sweet vanillas. Oh, it's smoky, definitely. You know, this is a reasonably peated whiskey. But it's also a little salty, a little briny. Reminds me a little bit of a kind of extremely peated Talisker. You know, Talisker, I don't really call it heavily peated. It's more charred. Let's get onto the palate on this. Oh. Do you know what? Fanboy or no, absolutely superb whiskey. Again, more sweetness, honeys, more of that brininess coming through. Definitely some smoke. This is not a kind of... Dare I say, yeah, is it? I mean, you could call this an entry-level peated whiskey. It's definitely peated. If you don't like peat, it's probably going to be a bit overpowering for you, but it's a waft of smoke rather than a kind of ashy, medicinal kind of flavours to it. I absolutely love this dram. And you know what? I didn't say it earlier, but it's £40 for a bottle of this. £40. 46%, £40. It's the second cheapest whiskey in this flight. And I have to say, in my opinion, kicks the crap out of everything so far. It's such a superb, well-rounded whiskey. And I kind of err on this fence. I need to tell you guys about whiskies like this because they go under the radar. But I have to say that the more they go under the radar, the more bottles are available for people like me. So if you're watching this, please do try to get a bottle of it. But, you know, don't pay over the odds. If it goes, it goes. Just wait for the next batch to come out because otherwise we're going to see stuff like this going through the roof. 40, 50, 60 pounds, that sort of thing. But £40 is a very reasonable price for... I know it's a no-age statement, but whatever. It's really good. One more sip of water, and then we'll check out the last one. Okay, the last one. The 6th dram. And why not in the Dram Team glass? Now, these things, I can know what you're thinking already. 10 millilitres, 1 centilitre. It's too small to do anything with. Absolutely, 100% agree. But it's the right size for what you would call a festival-sized dram. If you've been to a festival, you'll know you don't get much more than this. I've had a few sips out of this already just to get some tasting notes and whatnot. But that's what you're going to get. What it does, it gives you an impression of a whiskey that would otherwise be maybe unattainable or just a little bit too expensive. For example, this one is a special, the Bowmore 19-year French oak Barrique, Isla, of course. But this is an Amazon exclusive. So, unfortunately, people in America, I don't think you'll be able to get this. The rest of this stuff you should be able to get fairly easy. Maybe not the Glen Moray, but we'll see. But the rest of it should be around somewhere, depending on your state, of course. Amazon exclusive. Only get it on Amazon. But it's £103. Well above what I would normally spend on an average bottle of whiskey. I 100% would not have bought this. So it's nice to try. 48.9%. Oop. Heads up. So, you get a nice impression of it. But absolutely 100% I definitely won't be reviewing this. Of course, it's already gone. I've never reviewed something of this size. Too small. You just about get away with a 25ml, but ideally you'd have a double or more. Now, if you know Bowmore, I've covered a couple. They've got a very interesting flavour profile about them. It's hard to pin down. It's sweet, citrusy. For my nose, there's not much smoke on the nose, but that might just be my nose. You might smell this if you're not into your kind of peated whiskies. You might get it and go, that's just too much peat for me. Fair enough. But if you like your peat, give it a go. I know Bowmore tends to kind of, you're either one side or the other. You know, it's the Marmite of whiskey. There's a lot of kind of distilleries like that. Arran is another one where they have that kind of flavour profile about it. Let's try on the palate. Now for me, it's more of that sweet citrusy notes, but this added layer of peat, brininess to it. Absolutely superb. Love whiskies like that. There's probably a lot more depth to it, I have to admit. Difficult to tell from a size like this, but really nice to have an impression of something that otherwise would not have bought, would not have tried. And that's the point of that 6th dram. Rather than thinking of it that you're buying 5.5 drams, you're kind of getting your 5 drams that you would normally get for the price of the box, plus a little bit extra and a premium one at that. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed this kind of flight through it. I promised you guys an interesting link to check out. Now, in the description below, there's a link directly to the Dram Team website. And if you purchase one of their subscription boxes, you can get a month, 3 month, or I think a 6 month. You'll have to check out what's available right now. You will get 20% off your first box. So it's usually £30, and I think it's going for something like $23.99. Now, of course, this helps the channel. You know, if you subscribe to them, the first box, I'll see a little referral fee, and I'm very grateful to all of you for supporting the channel if you do go for it. If not, don't worry about it. You don't have to go through the link that I've given you. You can go straight to the Dram Team and check them out directly. And please do, because I have been a long-standing subscriber of these guys. I wouldn't bring this to you if I wasn't. These aren't freebies to me. I purchase this every month. These guys send this through to me. I have done for the last 3 years. I get a box like this, and I've always enjoyed it. I've got a lot of samples up here to cover, which is why I'm doing these kind of sample Saturdays and Sundays things now, because I've just got so much to cover. But it's a really good way of trying whiskies that you wouldn't normally try. And although these ones, if you're watching this, you probably have tried at least a few of these, but maybe not the Glen Moray and maybe not this one, could be worth the price of admission alone. But please do go and check out the link below, and let me know in the comments what you think of the Dram Team. I know a few of you have tried them already. Just make sure you go and check them out. That's all I'm saying. And again, just to reiterate, this is a brand that I really do believe in. I wouldn't bring something to you unless I did. Hopefully, I've conveyed that throughout this video. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for sticking through this. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and let me know in the comments below, because I really do like doing stuff like this. But if it's not what you want to see, you have to let me know. Maybe I won't do it, but we'll check it out for next time. Let me know what you think. See you on another No Nonsense Whisky video.